1.7 is our last biogeochemical cycle. It is the water cycle, or if you want to be fancy, it's the hydrologic cycle. Big thing to take away from how the water moves is it's powered by the sun. So it's the heat of the sun that causes water to evaporate, and then it moves around, cools down, sinks. Lack of sun causes it to freeze. All of it is powered by the sun. A lot of these processes you might be familiar with, so it shouldn't be too hard to copy the cycle down. Things I've noticed are newer for students are things like runoff and percolation. Not that they're difficult concepts, but just we typically learn the evaporation, transpiration, precipitation, all that stuff, and we don't really learn about all these things. But a big part of why the water cycle is important in environmental science is the runoff and percolation, because that process takes with it things that aren't supposed to be in the water. For instance, we just talked about in the last video about nitrates and phosphates getting into the lakes and the Gulf of Mexico and ponds and large bodies of water because of that natural process of runoff. We can't stop runoff, so we have to stop how we allow things into that runoff. Another big thing is percolation. So percolation, again, natural process, but becomes an issue when things percolating into the soil are not things that we want, for example, in our groundwater. And when it gets into groundwater, it becomes so difficult to get it out. So we're going to talk about this more later on in the year, but when we talk about aquifers, if you get a pollutant into the aquifer, and it has happened, then it becomes almost impossible to control because that aquifer covers such a large area, and so many people depend on that aquifer for drinking water. It becomes a much bigger issue. It's much easier just to take that water, or take that pollutant from the source. So keep it from getting in the water in the first place. So, moving on. The oceans are the primary reservoir of water. 97% of the Earth. And ice caps and groundwater they're the largest reservoirs of fresh water. This shows a little bit better that most of the water is salt water. Only about 3% of that water is fresh water. Most of that is locked up in ice caps and should stay that way. I should just point that out. And then groundwater, and only just a tiny percent comes from lakes and rivers. Right, now it is your turn to explain the steps and reservoir interactions in the hydrologic cycle. Again, focusing on things like runoff and percolation, since those are the topics that the water cycle is going to come up with the most.